going on, guys? Welcome back to the Forge Sports Media Podcast. This is our 25th episode, Thomas, and we are virtual today.
We are. My wife is sick. I believe. Is your wife busy tonight? Is she doing something? Or she's with a friend or sister or something? But
we've got family coming in here in a little bit, so not too soon. We got plenty of time to talk lots of disc golf with you guys. So
make it happen. We're just so close. Let's make a note that we are less than a week away from the All-Star event. This is the kickoff for the season. And Trey and I are just absolutely stoked. Like, we've been waiting this entire off season for more disc golf, and we're here.
Yeah, the off season was kind of crazy. Gannon Burr, Eagle McMahon, Alden Harris. The list goes on and on of folks with new sponsors, and we are going to get to see a couple of those players with their new sponsors during the All-Star weekend. So Gannon.
No, I was just going to say, it's going to be really nice to see these people throwing their new plastic. I'm just absolutely stoked for that.
Oh, for sure. So Gannon, obviously, going to be throwing some Discmania. And then on the FPO side, we have Allie Smith, who is now on Team Infinite Thought Space, as I think most people are referring to it now. So she's going to be throwing a mixed bag. And we're also going to have Macy Vela-Diaz with Team DGA rocking it at the All-Star event as well. So it'll be exciting to see some new players throwing some new plastic. But Thomas, I did want to go ahead and get into this. All-Star weekend, there's been a couple of changes. The skills events no longer are a part of the team scoring. And they're going to actually invite some non-All-Stars to participate in some of these events. Yeah. What are your initial thoughts on just the new changes that they've decided to make for this All-Star weekend?
I think the Disc Golf Pro Tour listened. They know that the format historically has not sat super well with fans. It honestly felt just a little bit gimmicky to have a lot of these skill challenges play a huge role in how these teams end up performing. At the end of the day, I like them, but they shouldn't show which team wins. It's absolutely ludicrous to think that whoever wins putting could be the deciding factor on whether Team Red or Team Blue takes it down. Like, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Sounds like that was a relatively wide-held opinion, and so I'm glad to see it just the singles and doubles that will play into that. I just think it makes for a better competition overall. Now, remind me, are we playing stroke play in singles or are we playing match play? I assume that it's stroke play, though I would be very interested to see a world where we play match play.
Yeah, I think match play is a fun route to take, but I do believe it's just going to be stroke play for both singles and doubles. And so I think that an all-star event like this is a great place to do some of those fun formats that we wouldn't normally get to see, like the match play. And so, while that's not a big deal, I think it would be a good place for them to, try something like that and have a little more, strategy on how you play hole by hole, if that makes any sense.
It does. So I'm excited for it. I think it's a really good way to get guys excited about competing hard. And you've got some absolute crushers out here, people with new plastic ready to show it off. I don't think you could have a better setup for an all-star weekend to get everybody excited. And then, like you mentioned as we introed, having other players able to come in that might not be in the top 10, but are definitely, top 3 probably at least in different skills categories can come in and absolutely crush these top tier pros in some of these individual competitions. Seeing somebody like David Wiggins Jr. come into that distance, you and I were talking about that prior, seeing somebody like Andrew Marweed potentially coming in putt. I don't think I've got a full list of who is competing in what, but I think that makes for a much more exciting weekend.
Yeah, I don't think they've released all of that just yet, but I'd love to see Eric Oakley in the skills challenge. I feel like he would absolutely shred something like that. And so just like the accuracy event. And so I think there's an opportunity for a lot of fun people to be at this event. and I think they've done a really great job with it. But quickly, we should take some make a friendly wager here, Thomas. We did this
Yeah.
last year, and I did have to play a round of disc golf right-handed and putt left-handed because I throw left-handed and putt right-handed. I'm
Go both.
amphibious, as Yogi Berra would say.
Yes.
But I think this year we're gonna make some wagers on the red team and the blue team, and now I'll list the teams, and Thomas, I will let you pick your team.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, so Team Calvin is obviously Calvin Heimberg, James Proctor, Anthony Barella, Ricky Wysocki, Matty O, and recent addition Chris Dickerson, who is filling in for the injured Eagle McMahon. Now, Eagle originally was going to play, but decided since it is a team event and he was going to play left-handed, he did not want to hinder the opportunity for his team to win, and so he opted to not play, which I can respect that.
It's similar. Last year, Ricky Wysocki had to back out based on his Lyme disease flare-up and ended up having Corey Ellis come in and play in his place.
Who was very instrumental in, I think, in their win.
He was. He absolutely went off.
And so then we have Team Isaac. So that's going to be Isaac Robinson and his brother Ezra Robinson. We've got Kyle Klein, Gannon Burr, Cole Redolin, and Aaron Gossage.
And so both Thomas, of these teams are stacked.
It's kind of, the storyline is kind of like old disc golf versus new disc golf. Because
very much so is.
Calvin, Ricky, Matteo, Chris have all been around the tour for years and years, as well as Anthony Barella, even though he's a younger player. And then James Proctor, who hasn't, last year was his first full tour, is no stranger to lead cards at majors and killing it on the West Coast. And he had an absolutely phenomenal 2023 season. But then on Team Isaac, you have the Robinson brothers who are in the sport, but they're shredding. Kyle Klein, Gannon, Cole, Aaron, all these younger guys who are making a huge impact in the game. And so this is a tough decision.
It's hard not to like that setup. That is just, it's absolutely nuts. This is a tough one. I think the way that we would have it out, I'm going to choose Team Calvin. Would you have chosen Team Isaac?
I would have chosen Team Isaac. So
then that works out perfect. So
yeah,
I think, Trey, I'll confirm. You and I had some thoughts. The way that we'll do this friendly wager on this right here is that whichever team loses, whichever one of us had that team, when we go to the Music City Open in April, we will bring a new disc along with us of sorts. And if one of you shows up, comes up to us, and mentions our Instagram post for this particular episode, and you're the first person to do it, that person will give them that disc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And just to make it a little more of a wager, the winner will pick the disc that the loser has to purchase.
Okay. Well, we can make that happen. I like it.
And I won't do you too dirty, trust me.
Yeah, you'll make me buy like a new Sexton 2018 Firebird or whatever.
Yeah, the 2016 runs that are like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it'd be insane. We'll go $25 max on that.
That seems fair.
That way we're not going absolutely crazy on stupid premium plastic, but we can get something that's nice.
Absolutely. So that'll work out great.
It.
Cool.
That sounds perfect.
So going on to our next topic. During the offseason, there were a couple people who seemed to delay their sponsorship announcements. And I'm talking about Chandler Kramer and Lisa Fakis. So they were kind of two of the last folks that announced where they were going. And it was a response that, frankly, I was not expecting. Both Chandler Kramer and Lisa Fakis are going this season without a disc sponsorship. They're going completely open bag, and they are teaming up with retailers and bag manufacturers and other folks to help sponsor their year. And so I thought this was really interesting. I mean, it's really not ever been done for a full tour. I mean, you could make the case that Infinite is a retailer, but they also make discs. And so this is really the first time that anyone's ever tried to go on a full tour without a sponsor. So,
Right.
Thomas, is this going to work? Is this sustainable at all?
My short answer, no. I do not believe in any capacity that this particular setup is made for the long haul. I think that these two people, both with Lone Star this past year, are not in a position where they've gained enough personal value with their play in the last season. Whether or not they are good disc golfers is not part of this equation. They are both really good at disc golf, and we love
Absolutely.
watching them play. But I don't think they provided enough value for themselves in the 2023 season for a discs manufacturer that late in their negotiation, especially with all the movements that have been going around. We're ready to pick that kind of player up. And so I think that this is a last minute move that is not going to be the case in 2025. You can take my word for that one, and we'll see if that plays out. But I think that this is not going to happen. And both of these players, if they end up liking it, are going to end up being sponsored by Infinite Discs next year.
That makes a lot of sense to me. I think that in its current format, I would tend to agree. I think we're a few years away from a situation like this being able to sustain you fully on tour, like for a relatively long time. Now, if some of these big sports manufacturers were to get involved, something like Under Armour sponsors, like does a big sponsorship with Calvin Heiberg or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they work out a great deal, similar to what Paul and I believe it was Kona did with Adidas for the Terexes a few years back.
Yeah.
And they did get great deals there. I do know that. And so if something like that occurred, maybe, but until then, until a big name is willing to shell out some money for like a huge brand deal like that, I don't really see. I'm with you on that. So
It's
I'm
hard
excited.
because, like, I don't know, disc golf and golf are very similar in how they're played, but their actual setup as a sport is much different. We're
Correct.
very aware of what, huge A-tier golfers are wearing, what their sponsors are on that area, and their club manufacturer matters a lot, and people will care about it. But it's not the primary source of income for these people where it currently is on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And I think a lot
Correct.
of that plays with the malleability of these discs. They break down very quickly, they get lost very quickly, and that just doesn't happen with your golf clubs. It does with your discs. And so it's just it is going to be the case for more than likely forever in disc golf. I find it hard to believe that there's a space where we get away from the disc manufacturer being the primary sponsorship for a disc golfer.
Yeah, it feels like this is, if it was ever sustainable, it would be the exception and not the rule.
Agreed.
And it's a little unfortunate to me for Kramer and Fakis because they're kind of in this weird limbo of they're both great players in their own right.
Right.
They are no slouches. Their game is awesome. But at the same time, they don't garner the same reaction as like a lot of players, honestly. But they're not small enough that they're gonna want to take a chance with some of the smaller companies even.
Right.
And so I'm sure that a company like AGL or I don't know, Osuma Disc, if Chandler Kramer wanted to play for Osuma Disc, there's no way that they say no, right?
Exactly.
But Innova, Discraft, MVP, some of those bigger, the Trilogy brands, Discmania, they already filled out their teams.
Right.
And so there just wasn't space for them. And it's unfortunate, but it's the way it worked out this year. I do think that it'll be fun to watch these two play this year and see how they do with the mixed bag format.
Yeah, I think you're spot on that. Like, we know that these people have a lot to offer, and this season is just going to be super important for them. So it'll be very exciting to watch them. I couldn't agree more. Do you have anything else before I drive us into our next topic?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So, Trey, you actually brought up this conversation. We're going to roll into a more fun, unique topic, more of like an opinion-based item on what if you took two players on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and you combined them entirely. They really combined their strengths from both
Correct.
sides and created one super player. And Trey, you're the one that brought this up, and I want to ask off the bat if there are two, did you say, oh yeah, we have a list of, I think we've got 5 sets that we think are key and worth talking about. Who is the first grouping that you would make of 2 players to make one super player on the Disc Golf Pro Tour?
Yeah, and just to preface this thought, there was a video that Isaac Robinson put out on Instagram of him throwing this like absolute bomb of a forehand. And if you've been around disc golf, this dude's a 2-time major champ now. And the dude did it without a forehand.
Right.
And to see him throw this bomb of a forehand, I was like, he's changing the game. Like, he has gone off in the offseason and added to his major repertoire.
Right.
Major level repertoire. And so it just made me think, like, what players are like, a skill or 2 away from being on Isaac's level. And
yeah.
I was trying to build these super players. And so the first one that came to mind, probably the most obvious, is one of the best forehand players combined with one of the best backhand players. We talked about him earlier. Chandler Kramer's forehand with James Conrad's backhand.
Yeah.
That's an unstoppable player. He can throw
Kramer is
shot.
Insane with that forehand. He goes absolutely crazy, and he really is the opposite of Conrad in that world, as he almost exclusively throws the forehand. Does he ever throw the backhand? I know he's said that he has a backhand.
I have never seen it, and I don't think I've ever seen it on coverage. I have seen Conrad throw the forehand, but it is a limited basis, as needed. There's nothing else available, and I guess we probably haven't seen Kramer in a lot of those scenarios. So I'm sure in like the right scenario, he will just pitch out a backhand, as if Conrad would pitch out a forehand. But if you combine their skills, that's a major champion right there immediately.
That would be insane. The next one we had on this list, and really shout out to Trey because he made most of this list. We discussed some of them prior, but one that is on here, and I really liked it, is Emerson Keith's technique. And we'll refer to really like he is the king when it comes to pound for pound distance. Just insane that somebody of his stature can throw as far as he does. And now mix that with Ezra Aderhold's size and absolute explosiveness. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the pound for pound, let's just give Emerson Keith Ezra's body. And I was like, that dude's throwing 800 feet. Let's be real.
It would be nuts. Like he would definitely give David Wiggins Jr. a run for his money on the world distance record.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of Wiggins, so one of my other ones that we came up with, the dude throws far. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And he's electric watching him throw far. So I wanted to pair him with who I think is the most electric putter. Maybe not the best putter, but this guy's had the most highlight putts that I've ever seen, if I'm going to be honest. And it's Matt Bell. Matt Bell doesn't get enough love.
Yes.
That dude is a killer on the green. I've seen him make multiple 100-foot putts. I actually saw one happen at USDGC in 2022. I was watching a different card, and you see in the background him just draining a putt from outside circle 2, and he does it often. You combine
and Matt Bell is he's been around the sport for a long time, and
he has.
He is the 2016 putting world champion, which does not surprise me at all.
No, not at all. No, not at all. And I just think that's like maybe not the best player, but the most electric player out of this list, in my opinion.
Yeah. The next one I want to talk about is somebody who is really good at messing up and somebody who's really good at putting. And we've got Aaron Gossage, who is absolutely insane at the drive. He has an insane forehand. He has a great backhand, huge distance all around, really consistent for the most part. And then Andrew Marweed on the putting. And we know that Andrew Marweed is an absolute OG at putting. Unreal. Absolutely takes it down.
He is a big fan of those steady BLs, man. He is one of the OGs at DGA as well, and he's done a fantastic job with them. Has had some struggles off the tee, but absolutely zero struggles from the green. And we can say the opposite about Goose. We know Goose's game. Hyzer forehand, Hyzer backhand, just 450 feet with ease on both shots. And then he gets to the green.
It's just, oh.
It's
I want him to win so bad.
And he's so close. I think he probably has a really good shot at doing it this year. But
I think so.
But if you give him Marweed's putting, I mean, it'd be hard to pick against him ever.
Oh, yeah. That would be a tough one overall. So I agree with you entirely.
And now, this last player is completely unstoppable.
This might honestly be the best player of all time.
This would be the GOAT. This would 100,000% be the GOAT. So we take who I would say is the most talented disc golfer in the game. Just bar none. Most athletically gifted, most talented at throwing the disc. Anthony Barella, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude put himself in position to win so many times, but at the end, it didn't finish. Who finishes? Who has that clutch factor? Like nobody else in the sport.
And that person is the Paul McBeth. The absolute finisher of finishers, the absolute terror when it comes to just chasing somebody down. We talk about that 2022 World Championship where it's Paul McBeth chasing down Aaron Gossage. Oh my. That is like, I mean, Paul's done it enough times. He's had his 18 under round. Was it that toboggan that he had the 18 under round that's like constantly replayed? He's a killer. Like he goes absolutely insane. And Anthony Barella is probably the best player on tour without a tour win, I would say.
It's close between him and Proctor for sure. But yeah, definitely. I think that's just a game breaker for from a beast. I like that. But
absolute insane.
Absolutely insane. But let us know in the comments what two players you would combine to make a super player like this. And don't just say, "Oh, I'm going to combine Calvin Heiberg and Ricky Wysocki."
Yeah, it's like we're not looking for two people that are really good at all parts of their game. We're looking for somebody who lacks something in their game and another person who has the thing that would complement that by a wide margin. Like you're spot on. I don't want Calvin and Eagle mixed together. We know that player would be good, but like would those two people mixed together have enough like compliments on each other to make this like massive difference in one of the players' games?
Not really. But this is just a fun little thing that I thought about from watching Isaac kind of break his game. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys and share this fun.
Yeah. Sweet. Now let's roll in. We've got our last segment coming up, and we're going to talk about a general Disc Golf Pro Tour, Disc Golf Network, PDGA update as a whole. We're going to try to run through these relatively quickly. The one that you brought up to me that is newer on this list in terms of like when things have come out, we're recording this on Tuesday the 13th. We've got the Disc Golf Pro Tour announcing a new pricing structure to their plans overall. Historically, there's been a one-shoe-fits-all approach to their subscription, and now they're moving that into 3 separate tiers. Trey, do you want to
Correct.
break that down for us?
Yeah, I'll do the quickest breakdown I can. So we've got a tiered subscription. They got 3 different tiers. There's the basic, there's the standard, and then there's the pro. So to give you the basic is going to give you the first round of every event except for a couple of majors, and then it's going to give you full coverage of 5 events: chess.com, U.S. Women's DGC, Champions Cup, MVP Open, and then it's going to give you the 4th and 5th round of Worlds. You're going to be able to do one device, and you will not get extra content from Jomez. You will not get ad-free live coverage. But that's pretty much all you get from the basic plan is just a little bit of disc golf. And now that's going to be $6 a month for the base price, but that is free for the PDGA member, which is pretty cool. The standard is going to be pretty similar to what it was last year. You're getting full coverage of every DGPT event and the pro majors, excluding European Open and USDGC. You're going to get select bonus features and feature hole broadcast. One thing that they are rolling in for everyone, which I think is a good move, is the live pause, rewind, instant rewatch. So you're getting DVR type capabilities, which is really great. And then with the standard, you're going to get 2 devices that you can stream from. You're going to get select content from Jomez, bonus content. You're going to get post-pro coverage from Jomez, completely ad-free. And then if you go for the yearly subscription, you'll do $20 off. You'll get $20 off the DGPT Pro Shop and the Jomez Shop, and 10% off on all your DGPT tickets. Now, what we're rolling there is $12.99 a month for the standard, for just the base price, and then if you're a PDGA member, that comes down to $5.99. And for the yearly, you're going to do $130 or $70, whether you're not a PDGA member or you are. Now the pro. Now I think this is an incredible plan that they've got going here. Let us know your takes in the comments. But you get full coverage of every event, every major. You get all bonus whole feature broadcast and alternate commentary streams, and you get Tournament Central all day coverage plus bonus streams. You can stream onto up to 3 devices. You get all the extra Jomez content. You get post-pro coverage, ad-free, and you get ad-free live coverage for round 1 of every event. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you go the annual route, you get the same things that you got from the standard, plus you get 2 free general admission tickets to a DGPT event and an exclusive monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
What you're going to be running there price-wise is $20 a month for the non-PDGA member, $13 for the PDGA member. Annual, you're looking at $240 a year or $140 a year.
Yeah, so, and $140 just is not that bad for what you're paying for, especially if you're getting 2 free Disc Golf Pro Tour tickets. Like, I mean, we're looking at going to the Music City Open tickets. Let me go to the Eventbrite page right now. I believe they're like $20 per day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, let's open up this page. From $18.30 per ticket. And so I believe that's the daily price right there. So you're getting almost $40 in tickets right there if you go to that event. I mean, I'd be curious, did it mention event tier? Like, could I get tickets to a major if they were more expensive?
It said it was a Pro Tour event, so it's probably not going to cover your major. But it will cover any Pro Tour event is what it sounds like. And so
yeah,
I think this was a fantastic move by the Pro Tour, by DGN here. I mean, I'm definitely going to be signing up for the Pro.
I think so as well.
I'll probably be doing the annual as well, so I can secure some tickets to
I think that makes sense entirely. The next topic that we wanted to cover is that we've got this is a little bit older news, but we want to make sure that we cover it, is the PDGA and the Disc Golf Pro Tour are making a change in their stat keeping for this season, and they will no longer be a partner with UDisc specifically for their events, specifically in terms of using UDisc Live for stat keeping throughout the year. And so when you're at, let me make sure this says running out of time.
We've got 8.5 minutes, so we got plenty of time.
Perfect. Bingo. So no longer will be using UDisc Live. They've been working with StatMando and had purchased StatMando already, so it makes sense that they would be using them for like their detailed stats. But we know that the PDGA has been moving towards using their PDGA Live app anyway, and so they're just going to be working on increasing the capabilities of that app so that at Disc Golf Pro Tour events, I'm sure there will be a scorekeeper separate, like a UDisc person that's been walking around. They will now have somebody else walking with the PDGA Live app instead. And so this makes sense. Why would the PDGA want to use somebody else for something when they've been creating their own product for the last couple of years?
They're not going to outsource.
There's no reason.
Yeah, they're not going to outsource something like this anymore when they have a perfectly capable network of doing it, and they have a great brand like StatMando working on their statistics. I think this was a no-brainer move. I hate it for UDisc because I really do like the UDisc platform. I think they are excellent at what they do, and they've got a lot of great features that are still going to help the casual player or the amateur player, but we're just not going to see it on tournaments anymore, which is...
I was going to say, I think one thing that you'll see is, I think this could be a huge hit for UDisc based on the amount of people that like use UDisc Live for tracking live scores remotely. Like, I'll be very curious to see how will UDisc go about this. Will they still try to run their world rankings using their own data? Will they have people out there trying to keep the scores of every individual card? Are they going to try to get that data from the PDGA and use it themselves? I'll be curious to see how their model changes in that regard, because I know that it's not cheap to have people go out to all of these events. And this past year, it was free. You could just show up to a card and they would say, hey, who wants to be a volunteer for the UDisc stat keeping? And we could have chosen to do that if we wanted to, if we were there at the right time.
Right. And so, it'll be interesting to see how that goes about. We'll probably get some more info on that when we're at Music City. We'll be able to get some actual, we'll go up to hole 1 and watch it happen and see what they do there. But
are you good if we roll into that last topic and then call it an episode?
That's what I was thinking. Let's talk about W.R. Jackson. So
you want to run this? I'm just super excited for this topic.
Then go for it, Thomas. You got it. This is all you.
This place, just because I've gotten to play it and then I've gotten to watch it. I was super excited to go last year, and honestly,
for sure,
I personally felt bad when I heard that W.R. Jackson was getting infested by some type of beetle and was going to have to be pretty much just deforested in large. And there have been a lot of changes to the Champions Cup this year. Now we've got it being played at Northwoods Black. Bingo. But we want to get back to that property. It's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
And what I don't think I really realized was the way that you go about redesigning a course. And they've made it known that the deforesting has been done. All the trees that needed to be cut down have been cut down. The steady Ed Hedrick course that they have over there, which is a lakeside course, a little bit shorter, but super fun, great views, is still intact for the most part, is there, able to be played. The practice baskets up at the property are there. They're redoing or have already finished redoing the pro shop in part or whole. And then the two other courses, W.R. Jackson, and then I don't know why I'm forgetting
the steady
Rick
Ed
Warner. Is it Rick Warner Memorial? I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Those two courses are pretty much entirely cut down tree-wise, and they're looking to redesign it. And so after we were thinking through the topics, we saw this note that basically said they're bidding out the process. They want to get a bunch of course designers to come in and give them a proposal for how they would design the course. And that's awesome. I love the idea of saying, hey, I know there's a ton of people that would love to do this. Show me what you got. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's incredible. I think it's a great idea. I almost want to try it to design a course. I think that'd be kind of sick. Just
Yeah,
give them the Forge Sports proposal.
right.
But in all seriousness, I think this is an excellent format of getting just an excellent course. I mean, you're going to have course designers are going to go crazy with this property, and I think we're going to get an excellent product. Now,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say those proposals are already due. I say already due. They're due on the 16th of February, 3 days from now.
Well, I
They'll
better get
award
started
a
then.
bid on the. Yeah, you've got 3 days to put that bad boy together. They'll award the bid on March 1st. The design completion, the mocks of this should be done on April 30th, and they should start construction in May. In between May and August 31st of this year, they'll work on the course, and it should be completed at the very end of August, meaning that next season we should have what I believe is meant to be 2 new championship layouts over here, if I'm not mistaken, unless their plan is to make an extra long course and make it 1 championship level course across all of the land. Who knows? But I'm pretty confident that it's 2 championship level courses.
I guess it depends on who wins the bid.
That does make sense. So I'm excited because I want to get back out there. And Trey, you need to get out there. It is awesome.
I cannot wait to go and play this course when it's finished.
So, do you have any other thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
What were you going to say?
It's close. I was just going to say it's close to home. It's a historic property as far as disc golf goes, and it's good for the sport to have a place like Abilene, Georgia.
Yeah, I agree completely. So, unless you've got anything else, I think we can call that an episode, right?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you. We love making content for you guys, and we'd really appreciate it if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on what you would like for us to cover in future episodes, and go find us on socials. We're on Instagram and TikTok. We make content for them as well, and we just really enjoy this, and we'd love to hear your feedback.
Definitely. We'll catch you guys in the next one, and we'll talk about the chess.com invitational predictions next week. See you guys.